Welcome to Reddit Reads r/ProRevenge. Our first Reddit post is from Zdivan. Not pay me for the website I built, say goodbye to your business house and reputation. This happened early 2000s. I used to be a freelance front-end dev and a search engine optimization guru. Back then, getting on the front page of Google was pretty simple. Link exchanging was popular but risky. I never did that, but I did have a single website that had serious page rank clout due to it being linked as a trusted source directly from one of the top and most trusted websites in the world. I would use this website for the best clients to get their PageRank and search engine position, leapfrogging other older and more trusted websites. One day I was approached by someone I'll call Bob. Now Bob sold travel packages. He needed to revamp his basic existing website with a complex website built with pretty tricky back-end coding. I could do the front end, but I had to hire a back-end dev to build the functionality. Bob had a major launch in a month's time, and it had to be ready. I usually ask for 25 deposit upfront, but Bob said no, he was stung by the last dev and wasn't going to lose any more money. Now, from the moment I met Bob, my gut was telling me this was going to end badly. The problem was I needed the money, and it was worth quite a lot of money for me and the dev. I skipped the deposit on the promise he paid in full before it went on his server. Bob agreed. For an entire month we worked day and sometimes all night to get this done in his time frame. With a day to spare we had done it, and I'd never been so proud of what we had achieved. I was honestly excited to show Bob. The next day, I sent the link to my test server, and he phoned me to discuss it. Bob said everything looked good, but he was worried his server's version may be too old to run it. I assured him it would, but he said he was too scared it won't, and we would scrub our hands of it. We went backwards and forwards, but he was insistent the site has been uploaded and tested on his server before he parts with a penny. I chatted to my dev. He didn't like it either, but agreed we would upload our work onto his server. Bob gave me the FTP details and server login, and I uploaded the site. I told him it was live, and then nothing. I sent several emails and then phone calls. The emails went unanswered and the phone went to voicemail. Sensing a major problem, I rushed to my computer, fired up my FTP program to delete our work on his server, and access denied. He had locked us out, and the following day he went live with our work. For several days I tried phoning until one morning he answered the phone and said, "Listen, I'm not ever going to pay you, and there is nothing you can do about it." Then Bob hung up. Rage was a good word for my feelings. I was shaking while I still held the phone in my hand. For the next hour, my range of expletives was growing in complexity. As I sat there figuring out what to do, it hit me. Revenge will be mine. I registered a new domain name, which was Bob's travel domain name plus sucks at the end. If Bob's website was called bubstravel.com, I had purchased bubstravelsucks.com. I uploaded our work, basically an exact mirror of his live website, onto my new domain. I used my all-powerful mega page rank domain to link to my new sucks domain. Within a month, my website jumped above his website in Google for every conceivable search phrase you would use for the packages he sold. No matter what you typed in, my site was the first result, and his was always below mine. During that month, I created a second website, which was Bob's full name with sucks at the end. On this second website, I posted what happened, screenshots of his emails, and warning everyone what a conman he is. Bob had a somewhat unusual first and last time. Again, within a month, my website was above his own personal website. I then forgot all about it. About 4 months later, I get a cease and desist email from a solicitor's firm. A quick Google showed the solicitor's firm was made up and didn't exist. I replied back with, "I'm not ever going to take them down, and there is nothing you can do about it." Every now and then I'd get emails from people he had conned by taking their money for a travel package, but never booking their package. I'd put those on both of my websites, making sure those juicy important keywords, his full name and company name, were spread across each negative review. A few more months pass and I get an anonymous email linking to a new domain called Sucks. I'm told to remove my 2 websites, and he will remove this new one. A quick search, and what do you know, it isn't even on Google. No one could find it. I reply back for a second time with his comment to me. As each month passes, I'm getting more and more people emailing me saying they've been ripped off. I keep adding them to my website. Turns out the travel agency world is well regulated, and they started an investigation into Bob's company using my website as their main tool. I get a call from Bob. Bob is not a happy Bob. In fact, Bob is more of a desperate Bob. Looking at this text now, I know you can almost hear the despair and resentment in Bob's voice. Bob pleads and literally begs me to pull the sites down. Not only is he being investigated by the Travel Agency Association, but he had some very important friends that didn't appreciate the bad press he was causing in their circles. He offers to pay me the money he owed. Nothing more, just what he owed. For the 3rd time, and with a massive smile on my face, I say, listen, I'm not ever taking them down, and there is nothing you can do about it. Roll on a few months, and I discover his travel company has been removed from all travel associations. No matter what you typed into Google, my website outranked his, and all the bad reviews on my site were the first thing his potential customers would see. I crippled his business so badly, it went bust. During the collapse, one of his ex-employees contacted me and told me how hard he had worked to get my websites off the first page. He had registered dozens and dozens of other domains in the hopes some would jump ahead. Little did he know only the top dozen websites in the world could jump it. Apparently his property was tied into loans on the failing business, and he lost his house too. It took me just about a year to turn his business from a cash cow to a dead cow. Motto of the story: if you ever think to mess with a dev, don't. Updates: my first ever award. Thanks for the silver. Wow, thank you for all your awards. Many of you are saying I should have taken the money and not pulled the sites down. At that point, it wasn't about the money. He thought he could simply buy his way out of it after pretending to be a solicitor and then trying the same thing on me. Him knowing I didn't care about the money anymore must have driven him crazy, because money was all he cared about. He then knew he could do nothing to stop his business going down the pan, and all he could do was watch it all fall apart around him. This comment is from Manic Digression. Kudos to your strength of principle, not taking his money when he offered it. It have demanded double taken that then went dark and did nothing after getting it just like he originally did. You, sir, pulled off not only ProRevenge, but also retained the moral high ground. This comment is from Kirokamitsu. Now, this is a ProRevenge story. Love it. If you have any more, please do share. This comment is from Zdivan. It took time, but for me, it was completely worth doing it the way I did. Now, a word from today's sponsor. Surfshark is an all-around VPN solution that can do everything from torrenting as well as streaming to browsing the dark web. Surfshark is one of the very best all-round VPN, terrific for Netflix, torrenting, confidential browsing, as well as staying safe on public Wi-Fi. Check out Surfshark today, link is in the description. Now back to the video. Our next Reddit post is from Deleted. Ended Mill's career after she ruined our lives. Context: I've posted a bit about my fiance's adoptive mother Susan in the last couple weeks, mostly on Justnimal, where I might cross-post this to later, but for anyone unfamiliar with Susan, she was my lecturer when I was at university. Susan hated that I was dating her adopted son biological nephew since she found out about us. When we first told her we were dating, she tried to kill me via allergy, another story for another day, and after she found out I was pregnant, she stalked us, impersonated me, and broke into our flat, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. She made our lives hell, to the extent where we no longer felt safe in our own home, and my fiancé and I had to move across the country to escape her. We've been living in our new place for a little under a week. The baby is due in a couple of months and everything is mostly ready. We've deactivated our social media, created new emails, and changed our numbers. Only a few friends and relatives from the town she lives in which we left have our new numbers. We had to leave our entire lives and everyone we knew and loved behind while I was 7 months pregnant because we couldn't trust her around our baby. Revenge. On Monday, an email was sent from the dean to Susan's graduating students saying Susan was being considered for a promotion from lecturer to head of department, and they wanted to hear from her students first. The aim of this was to receive glowing recommendations to give to the board. This was not the result. As I changed my email, I hadn't seen this. One of my friends who had my new number and was on the course with me did see the email, and on Tuesday, he gave my new number to the dean, saying that he would only give her the number in person on paper, and only if she agreed to ring when she was alone, and throw out the paper and erase it from the logs after if she was calling from a university phone, then the number would go on the call. So I got this call from the dean on Tuesday. She told me what was going on. My friend hadn't had time to get in touch before she rang, and she asked me why my friend thought I should speak to her. I told her everything. I started 2 years ago when I met Susan's son, the man who would become my fiancé and the father of my child. I told her about Susan poisoning me via allergy after finding out about me and her son and the EpiPen incident. I told her about the outside-of-class harassment I received post-pregnancy announcement impersonating me, crashing GP appointments, breaking in it. I told her about the in-class harassment telling me to break up with my fiancé, stopping lectures until I left, throwing out my food and drink, trying to reschedule exams, and more. I told her about the last time I saw Susan in person, when she tried to hit me while I was 7 months pregnant with her grandchild. I told her about having to move away. I was careful not to give a location or distance, and filing a restraining order to escape Susan. I thought the uni were made aware of the row, but apparently not. Fiancé then arrived home from work, and when I told him what was happening, he was all too eager to chime in with stuff I forgot, copying keys, punching the landlord, canceling orders, going through our things. He also told the dean about the abuse he got from her growing up. We also gave the dean the names of people willing to support our story, as well as some dates, times, and locations of on-campus incidents. I'd made a note of a few of them so she could pull CCTV from the campus security recordings. Fiancé also told her the story of one of his cousins, Susan's bio kid, who got close with a guy on Susan's course, but the guy was told to break up with her by Susan with a thinly veiled threat against his academic career. We also told the dean about Susan telling me to break up with my fiancé and vice versa so she could better maintain professionalism. The dean was horrified. She had me and my fiancé record a video where we said everything all over again from the top. We made sure the video had nothing to identify location, and we were assured Susan would never see it. We also sent her all the proof we had alongside it. This was all forwarded to the board on Wednesday and Thursday. She asked my friend for the number again and just called me for the second time, telling me that the board unanimously agreed this was grounds for Susan's dismissal. They said that while the outside of uni events weren't really their business, they go towards her character, and the fact that as department head, they said even without this, the events that happened inside of uni alone, stopping lectures, telling me to dump my fiancé, telling that other guy to leave her daughter alone, throwing out my stuff, seeking special treatment on grounds of nepotism were all abuses of power and enough to justify Susan's dismissal. They asked me why I hadn't filed charges, and I said all I'd gained from filing charges is Susan staying away from me, and the row and moving away has the same effect. Plus, as it's exams season, my tutor work, is really taking off, and I don't have the time to go through a whole court case, and I'll have even less time once the baby arrives. The baby is due in about 8 weeks, and Susan has already caused me enough stress. Tomorrow, in the meeting where Susan is fully expecting to be told she got her promotion, the dean is now going to give her a week to hand in her resignation. If she refuses, she will be fired. If she does not hand in her resignation, she will be fired. She will not be getting a reference. The only reason she is being given the option to resign is that she has worked at this university for nearly a decade, but if she so much as raises her voice in the meeting tomorrow, she will be fired. Security will be present for the meeting in case she tries anything. Meanwhile, the friends we left behind aren't hesitating to tell anyone who will listen all about what Susan did during the course of mine and my fiancé relationship. There's not a single soul left in that town who trusts her or will take her side if she tries to fight back, not even her husband, who told us that now all their kids are over 18, he will be initiating divorce proceedings. I don't feel even a little bit bad. I know there's a chance I went too far, but I didn't lie or embellish anything. I just gave the dean the facts as they are. Everything is 100 true, and while it was me who told the dean, I see this as Susan's actions having consequences. Susan has more than enough money to pay for herself. Facts. What is Susan and fiancé's relationship exactly? Biologically, they're aunt and nephew. Fiancé's parents were in and out of his life a lot growing up. Fiancé has never seen proof of this, but she refers to herself as his mother and to him as her son. What is the EpiPen poisoning accident? I'm severely allergic to peppercorn, as in salt and pepper, and shortly after Susan found out we were dating and asked us to break up, she then invited us to dinner to apologize. I offered to cook as I had my pepper allergy to work around, and she insisted on cooking. Fiancé also reminded her of the pepper allergy, as did his uncle, her husband. She cooked pepper-crusted turkey. Susan insisted it was a palate issue, and I needed to stop being fussy. I didn't eat it, but due to my proximity to a giant lump of cracked and cooked pepper combined with the severity of my allergy, I was sat at the table with the turkey right in front of me. I wound up inhaling enough. Fiancé went to get me water while I went for my EpiPen. I couldn't open it, and Susan took it off me. I pointed to where she should administer it, and instead of doing that, she asked me if I was sure about not breaking up with Fiancé. Uncle arrived, saw what was happening, called Fiancé into the room, and between them they got my EpiPen, administered it, and drove me to A. To this day, Susan insists that no one is allergic to pepper. I'm just fussy, and even though I should have pressed charges at the time, not only was she still my lecturer, but law enforcement says that being stupid isn't a crime. What the hell is going on with the faculty? At my uni there are visiting part-time lecturers, referred to as junior lecturers, then there's full-time lecturers who are referred to as senior lecturers, then there's the head of department. This is not a rotating position. Each position comes with a pay bump, and the head of department runs the compulsory module each year. The head of department, once appointed, is the head of department until they resign, are fired, or retire. Why was the dean so transparent? From what the dean told us, it's a health and safety issue as well as a legal one. Susan has proved to us that she's a threat to our safety and well-being. We proved that to the dean with testimony and evidence. And now if the dean gets rid of Susan, Susan could go after us. The dean needs to keep us in the loop in case this happens, so the uni isn't liable in case Susan comes after us. How was this all done so quickly? I think they wanted it sorted quickly and quietly. They need to announce the new head of department soon. And they had a few options, but Susan was the front runner. The email I didn't see sounds like it extended to all candidates. So if former students had any thoughts on the other two options, they were free to email about them too. But when my friend saw that Susan was an option, he took matters into his own hands, as he knew about everything she'd done. I will admit to guessing and filling in the blanks here, and with the other uni stuff. Why no police? The same reasons we listed above between the baby, the move, and the new job, we have no free time. We think that the row and moving will be enough to keep her away, but if she comes near us again, we've agreed to contact the police and see through the court case, but with all the shit going on, we don't have time. We were also told when we were first asked about court that if she fought us, her lawyer would have the right to cross-examine us, and for that to happen, whether this happens before or after the baby is born, we don't want to even be in the same town as her right now, let alone in the same courtroom. Regardless of security, we wouldn't feel safe. Won't Susan blame you for all this? She'd blame us for this even if we had nothing to do with it. We're preparing as if she's going to knock on our front door any second and ask where we went, and because of this we have no less than 4 separate backup plans in case something does happen. When I said she had money to support herself, she does, but she doesn't have pie money or money to travel all over the place searching for us. Any therapy? Fiancé is in therapy because of her wound. Tried to get her in therapy, but she didn't want to. She went for 1 session with my fiancé as a mothersome thing and never again. What's the security situation at your new place? We have and are in the process of installing one of those doorbells with video feed and CCTV. We replaced the short screws in the doors with longer ones. Our place has a high metal fence with a locked metal gate on the front, and we are looking into if it's possible to fit a keypad or something similar so we'd have a code on it. Our new hospital has had some issues with the maternity ward in the last couple years, so they upped security in a big way, and now all visitors have to wear passes and sign in with photo ID, and they have a system where once the person signing in puts in their name, they type it into a computer, and the computer will alert them if this person is banned like Susan is, and in that can't she track you via social media? We've erased everything from our social media, deactivated our accounts, never mentioned anything about the place we moved to online or IRL. Fiancé works in it, and he's in the process of erasing all our accounts. What about this Reddit account? It's a throwaway account being updated from my old phone via mobile data. I have my new phone and number now. It's how my friend contacted me, but the old phone is still in service. Final update: the dean said the firing was happening last week. She said that if Susan didn't present as a danger to us, to her, if Susan lost her cool and yelled something like "this is all her fault," then the dean couldn't break confidentiality, and as we've not heard from her since, we can only assume that she took it well, or as well as possible. We've read your comments, Rep Lead, and we're talked and done some thinking, and we've agreed to look into legal options. We're still not totally sure about pursuing a court case, but we realize that Susan isn't just going to let this go, and she won't be willing to just leave us alone. We also weren't informed that the row would have our address, and my fiancé was also hesitant because despite her actions, Susan did, for the most part, raise him. We looked into it, and it doesn't look like she actually adopted him, so that's something. We're gathering all the evidence we have against her, plus anything the dean, landlord, or anyone else still has, and we are meeting a lawyer later this week, as we agree that our personal safety and the safety of our child should come first. This comment is from Bigot104. This also means she has more time to locate you and your husband. Do not put any baby announcements out on any form of media. This comment is from Anonymous2401. Good on you, but be careful from here. You've now ruined her career, and if she even suspects you were involved, which she probably will, she's going to be hunting for you. Stay safe, and good luck with the baby. This comment is from Dimension174. If I were you, I would go the extra distance and give the hospital where you will be giving birth a picture of her. Warn them about her, because when you'll be giving birth, you'll be too distracted to be thinking about hiding from Susan. That was Reddit Reads r/ProRevenge. If you like this content, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you are notified of new uploads. We upload new videos every day. Also subscribe to our Patreon, as that will help us a lot. See you next time.